Well, this is actually getting a little bit more interesting. Odin's flashback has actually been sped up. That is good, because I was actually worried we were gonna take too long doing all of this. And actually something is interested revealed about Kiku. Wait a minute. Which pronouns are one supposed to say regarding Kiku? They? I mean, back in this flashback it was a younger brother, so maybe this was before they wanted to be a woman? I don't really know, to be honest. So either way, I'll just say a younger brother here. But it turns out that Kiku had an older brother. And that older brother was none other than Isu, the 16th commander of the Whitebeard Pirates. Well, we have heard on promotional material that Isu did came from Wano. And we don't know anything about Isu's personality. We don't know if Isu is the same as Kiku. You know, a man but want to be a woman at heart. I mean, for what we saw of Isu, yes, he dresses and has makeup and all that stuff, so Isu looks pretty feminine as well, but I mean, a lot like an Okama, but it's not exactly known if Isu is the same as Kiku. But both, well, in this case, brothers, were disgraced dancers from a dancing school. I have no idea why the two brothers were dressed and acted so feminine at such a young age. Are they meant to represent something? I mean, what is this? A male geisha? Or I think there were some words to describe this. Okamas are nothing different, but the fact that I don't think these were Okamas yet. But we see more in the flashback of it all. Also revealed that Orochi was scum ever since he was in the Servant. Well, that's no surprise. He is a complete and utter non-sympathetic character. Anyone who do feel sympathetic and saying that we are supposed to have that could just go to hell. He is not meant to be sympathetic. Either way, Odin leaves Ringo after, well, having demolished a lot of the room, heading to Kuri. And we see the things of when he met all of his retainers. How he met Isu and Kiku, showed them kindness by eating the food, although kindness was kinda rough in the words. Stopped a demon that stole human hair, which in the end turned out to be a weirdo who was trying to make brushes. Apparently having loved to draw ever since he was young, although, as we all know, his drawing sucked. Yeah, that was Kanjiro, the demon of Kibi. As well as they ran into another person who was apparently a heinous mountain bandit who would fight off any man who he looked at and tried to kidnap any woman. But in the end, that man was nothing more than a disgraced genius ninja who has resigned from the Kosuke family's Onabashiba, apparently confirming that yes, he may very well have been a rival of that man ever since he was young. That man was, that mountain bandit was the former member of the Kosuke family's Onabashiba, Raizo. Although the only reason why he resigned was because he was rejected by a Konochi. Ugh, such a loser. But it makes sense, it's kind of comedic in that way. Odin wanted to head Kuri because he loved the fact that Kuri was such a lawless area, and he wanted to challenge Ashura Doji, who we actually see also in this flashback. To tell you the truth, Ashura Doji looks no different than he looks now. Maybe some wrinkles, but other than that, Ashura Doji looks exactly the same. And he was the unstoppable monster of Kuri. As soon as he heard about what makes Ashura kind of creepy is the fact that he cut off a tail of a snake, or maybe, no, not a tail, maybe he even killed it, and then took the blood into his sake. Is that meant to represent something? I don't know. He is noted to have hated power with privilege with power. Elsewhere, Odin then went himself to Kuri, having tricked his retainers to, well, retainers, they were not his retainers yet to do that. And it actually turns out that a lot of people can question, why did Odin go to Kuri? Well, actually for a very simple reason. It wasn't just for a challenge. It wasn't just because of it all. Ever since we have seen Odin's personality, I was actually asking myself, Odin didn't really strike me as a guy who would just change things. Yes, he was kind, although he was kind of rough around the edges. He was eccentric. That was what Odin was. But why did he go to Kuri? It's the fact that it's simple, because Kuri had a rule, and that rule was one is free to enter, but leaving would mean death. And that meant basically for him never leave. And as we all know, Odin hated that word. He wanted to open the borders of Wano because he felt this was too cramped. So the simple reason why he went to Kuri wasn't just because of a challenge. It's because the rule of Kuri was if you enter, you will never ever leave. And he simply believes that that you need to, well, you need to be free to do whatever you want. That's what he believed. So he challenged Kuri, and as we all know, defeated Ashura Doji. It's worth noting that for the first time we actually see Odin bleeding, but he still defeated Ashura. And as I suspected, Ashura was accepting his death. However, Odin showed his strange kindness by saying, I have decided to become the king of you of these scumbags. So if you still adore me, he said to the people who would become his retainers. After that, he slowly began to change Kuri, as we also even see the daimyo from, what was it, Kibi, or was it Ringo? Well, either way, you saw him, how much he changed that world that was Kuri. And after that was no longer disowned by Sukiyaki. And that's how Kuri became an honorable place. And he finally also started to wield real clothing. But yeah, he was kind of eccentric, Odin. He did things out of the kindness of his heart, but he was also he did it not because it was the right thing to do completely. Well, it was but he did it just because it was him. And it was also this time the reason why he chose these people to be his retainers is because he didn't want any uptight official to follow him. He believed in the power of Ashura and the others because they were, well, they were real people. And so 6 years later passed. In the outside world, the survivors of the legendary rock pirates crew would start making the name for themselves. But that is something we will not really know yet, as we see a young Kawamatsu, apparently from this flashback, had not yet joined Odin. Because there's something I wish to know. And that is, who the hell was Kawamatsu? What I mean by that is Kawamatsu was called a kappa. But I don't believe he is a kappa. I believe it is what the Wano Kuri call him. But I believe he is a fishman. He has webbed hands after all. Yes, I know that a kappa also have webbed hands because technically it's a turtle man, so to speak. But there's still no answer really. Where did Kawamatsu come from? Did a species known as kappa really exist? I have no idea. But this seems to suggest that Kawamatsu was always in Kuri, or at least in Wano, because he was the one who found the dog and the cat, Inuarashi and Nekomamushi, who washed ashore. This is the beginning on when Odin met the minks, as well as probably Kawamatsu, who called them, it is actually kind of funny and a little bit hypocritical that Kawamatsu is the one who calls Inuarashi and Nekomamushi freaky. Because think about it, he is not really human himself. He is definitely not human. I still believe he is a fishman. So that is basically the fast forward story on how Odin went to Kuri, met all of his retainers, except of course it's revealed that Izu was a retainer of Odin way before this. This means that when Odin sailed and became a division commander in Whitebeard, he did not just take Nekomamushi and Inuarashi with him. No, he probably took Izu as well. But when he went to the Roger Pirates, Izu for some reason stayed. And then Kiku took his place as the new retainer of, this place. This is basically how it is. So, that is kind of the story on how Oden tamed Kuri. He defeated Ashura Doji and changed Kuri because he didn't like Kuri's world and the fact that it was a world that smelled like blood and corpses, as well as the fact that it's a world that took away freedom. He also kept logs and wrote down many things about his story. That is Kosuke Oden. It is actually a pretty good flashback. I needed to see at least some fast forward, because we all knew that flashback would be a thing. But this also means that it was 9 years later when Ineko and Inu would become, as well as Kawamatsu probably, would become Oden's retainers. But yeah, solid chapter. Although I still am kind of surprised that even in that young age, Izu and Kiku were very feminine looking. But hey, everybody has a choice. I guess that is why Oden liked them. They were free to do whatever they wanted. Give me your thoughts if you won't have any.